Hello everyone, welcome back for another episode of the Family Chit Chat, and today we're continuing our series on initiative, and we're continuing to talk about Nehemiah. And just as a little recap about Nehemiah, we pick up Nehemiah when he was in a faraway country, and he was the cupbearer, and he felt this burning passion to do something for the people of Jerusalem. See, Jerusalem's wall was completely destroyed, which left them open for any kind of attack. And Jerusalem was where he was from, and his heritage and his history was from. And so he had this desire to do something about that. And so he prayed about it, and God told him to go back to Jerusalem and rebuild the wall. He asked the king, and the king said yes. And so he went back and got people together, and they started rebuilding the wall. Well, in today's story, I wanted you to see how people tried to distract him from what he was supposed to be doing. And I want you to see what he did about it and how we can apply it to our lives today. So I want you to pause the video right now, read the story, and answer these few questions. And then when you're done, press play, and we'll continue from there. Okay, so Nehemiah and his crew, they were doing some great stuff. They were rebuilding the wall. But people didn't like that happening, and so what they did was they tried to distract him, and they tried to persuade him not to rebuild the wall, and they made fun of him. And in fact, they actually then came back and sent angry letters to him and tried to distract him and not rebuild that wall. But each and every time that they came and tried to distract him, Nehemiah focused on what needed to be done, and he knew that God wanted him focused on that thing, and he didn't let the distractions, the outside distractions, bother him. He stayed focused and continued to rebuild the wall with everyone else. And our bottom line today is stay focused on what needs to be done. Hey, when God calls you to do something and to do something big, people are going to try to distract you because Satan doesn't want you to do what God wants you to do. He wants you to do what you want to do. And so Satan's going to try to distract you. But what you have to do is stay focused on what needs to be done, just like Nehemiah. Pray to God and ask him to give you the strength and the courage to stay focused, and you will do a mighty work through God. And so I want to encourage you to stay focused on what needs to be done. Pray to God. Ask God, God, what is it that you want me to do today? And allow God to speak to you. And then when you do, hear the voice of the Lord and to go and do something in God's name, do it and don't get distracted. Don't let the outside distractions get you down. Focus on what needs to be done and let God do a mighty work through you. I bet you there's some great things that will happen. In fact, if you have a story of that in your life, I would love for you to share it in the comment section below. So definitely share it in the comment section and tell us about your story of how you stayed focused and God did a great work through you. Hey, also, as we wrap up this story, I want to remember the Bible verse we've been looking at all month long. Do you remember what it is? Hey, it's Colossians 3:23. Work at everything you do with all your heart. Work as if you're working for the Lord. Work as if you're working for the Lord. If you feel like God is calling you to do something big and great and extraordinary, do it with all your heart. But not only do that, hey, anything that you do today, work at it as if you're working for the Lord, not for anybody else. Do your homework for the Lord. Do the dishes for the Lord. Clean up your room for the Lord. Brush your teeth for the Lord. Whatever you do today, work at it as working for the Lord, not for anybody else. And see what God does today. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you next week with a whole new story on Nehemiah. Have a great week, everyone.